Thank you for you invite me. And my last name is first name Aleksey Yuditsenko. I'm in Ukraine, in our post-Soviet Union country. I not introduce myself and my last name because my friends, my church stay in occupation, and it can be danger for my parents. And yeah, but I think in USA it's normal. Um, we have a normal life before a war, but we have a like two part of our war. One is started 9 years ago, but second is the biggest start 1 years ago, and we have a normal life. I have a business. I have a church. I'm a pastor, Mennonite Brethren church pastor. Um, we serve, we live, but our life very changed because 2 months we stay in occupation. We serve in occupation territory. But when someone start find me, I should evacuate it with my family, with some friends, with many guys from my church. And um, right now we are staying in Vinica, open new church. We serve in front line with soldiers, with people. We distributed humanitarian stuff, share gospel, and many activity around us.
Aleksey, this is Roger talking to you, your friend,
Yes.
and it was sure good to be with you several months ago in Houston, Ukraine. I know you came a long way to meet me and the team when we were there in March. Remind us and tell Nick the town that you and your wife and two sons, where you live in Ukraine, and also I think they had to escape, and they're living in a different town now. Give us the
Yeah.
situation about where you're from.
Um, Thank you, Roger. I'm very glad to see you too. Um, right now in Berdyansk is my city's occupation
Okay.
territory occupied, and Russian government made on this place uh, their law,
Yeah.
and it's very hard. I just talk about 1 years ago when we stay in Berdyansk. Um, when it's 24 February, Russian soldiers come to Ukraine, and in our city they been maybe 25 or 26 February, and they
Okay.
occupied our city. We live
Okay.
very close to Mariupol.
Yeah.
The story about Mariupol.
Right.
Um, but our city just occupied, and not shoot, not killing, just they take around us, and they come with many tanks, many soldiers, and we don't know what's happened, what we do. We are pray, and we serve people. In next couple days, in every shop, every market, every medicine center, you can find anything, because
Right.
people stole everything, buy everything. We just have two factories. One is a bread factory in Berdyansk,
Okay.
and second is sausage factory. Yeah, and price very growing, and maybe in 3 or 4 times. But we can buy bread and sausage, and we can help people. We many people in maybe it's first date of March, or maybe 10 to 12 March. Many people from Mariupol come to Berdyansk. They stay without home, without, and just my first experience in Berdyansk. We have when occupied, we have a martial time when you should stay at home at 7 p.m. to 6 a.m.
Yeah. Yeah.
And maybe it's at 9 or 10 p.m. I just go outside at my home, and I see some cars without roof, without glass. Two cars just come close to my home. I stop them, ask, where are you from? They say, we are from Mariupol. This is the first people who evacuated from this very dangerous territory. They sit with kids. It's very cold outside, and they say, "Come on, let's come to my home." And next day we prepare our church, like shelter, and we close our service because Russian soldiers don't like Christian, that like any another. Only Orthodox Moscow church can be in Russian, and we just wait people, and many people come to our church in next couple weeks, and they stay. It's like at first day we are not give him the key from our doors. We just stay with them, pray together, but we understand it. So many people, it's hundreds and thousands people come at every couple hours. New people come, and other people try to evacuate it to another place, another city. Just many people visit our church. Maybe 2,000, maybe 1,500 people. I don't know. It's so many. We share bread. We give sausage, and people can stay at night. It's like at once I come to our church, and I see many 55 people stay here on our hall. They sleep everywhere, on the chairs, on the floor, and someone is sit and sleep. It's everywhere. I just
do the Russians, Aleksey, do the Russians still occupy your home and your restaurant? Are they still in your town, the Russians?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So
yes.
You can't go back home. You can't go back home. You can't go back to your restaurant and your church. No.
Yes. Yeah. Before war, I have a restaurant. I have a business. I pay from everything to my church. Just anyone not just pay our rent. No one support our church. We have a business, family business, a restaurant, and I have a shop. But right now, and I have a restaurant. It's named TG Food, like Thank God Food. Right now is Russian. Someone is the name is collaborant. Is Ukrainian people who work with Russian government. It's the name right now. Open restaurant TD. I have a TG. They open TD. Yeah, it's really. I have some photo. I maybe later try to send you.
Aleksey, when you're driving
I
around
back at home.
I know you gave me this when I was with you. And you had this. This says chaplain in Ukrainian, right? It says chaplain. And you have one of these on your car. Can you use this to get through checkpoints and do your work as a chaplain?
Yes. I work like chaplain. And 1 second. In Ukraine, usually I use that on my car.
There you go.
Yes,
yeah.
and I have that.
Okay, it says chaplain
too. Is the
chaplain?
Yes, and every checkpoint I don't stop. I just go because I'm sort of like military chaplain. It's a little bit different, or like USA military chaplain, because in US chaplains serve and like soldiers. I'm like volunteers. I visit soldiers, every soldiers, and I serve with people in front line. Another volunteers can't serve very close to front line. I can visit every villages and distributed humanitarian stuff.
Okay, and the Russians will let you through some of these checkpoints if you show your passport. And do you have to sometimes? You tell me sometimes you have to bribe the Russian soldiers to let you through a checkpoint.
I many times go out to some village and just take tablets, medicine, diapers, food, bread, sausage, and they go to any village around our city and try to help people. And many times I go to checkpoint, Russian checkpoint post, uh, and I never buy cigarettes, never. But I have many 20, 25, 30 cigarettes pack in my car every
Yeah.
day because it's like passports. Like they stop me and say, "Oh, okay, guys, do you want to have cigarettes?" Yes, come on. I have a sausage bread, and every time Russian soldiers ask me, "Can you give please us fresh bread?" Because
Okay.
and I
Yeah.
remember like Bible said, if your enemy want to eat, just give him. Yes, and
Amen.
it's
Amen.
it's real my life because I understand this Russian name, Russian peace, Russian world. It's something very crazy, but I understand this is the people,
Yeah.
and I never don't talk. I'm chaplain. I'm a pastor because if I said about something about God, they take me in a prison.
Mm.
It's maybe 1 month, 2 weeks ago, Russian soldiers come to my home in Berdyansk. They take away gates, doors, and take away everything. And two guys live there. It's just married guy, and this boy, his name is Vitalik. He sit in prison 1 week because they
Wow.
tried to find me.
Yeah.
Uh, 3 or 4 days ago, when I've been in Kherson, someone hacked my Facebook. I can't use my Facebook 4 days.
Wow.
I'm write messages say please give me back, and they say no
No.
because
Wow.
they change email, phone number, everything. Yes,
Wow.
it's 4 days or 3 days ago.
Yeah. Yeah.
One thing I
Yeah.
wanted to ask both of you guys really, because coming from it from the pastor's side, one of your jobs is to spread the message and find the good and the peace. And Aleksey, how do you find that good message in such an ugly time and such a hard time? What do you tell people who have just kind of lost hope and say there is no good coming from all this?
Um, I lost hope for a couple of weeks too. It's just one small story. My older sister, she live in Berdyansk, and 3 months ago, the medicine center say she have a cancer, and it's very hard for me. I pay many money, evacuated my sister from Berdyansk to Ukraine. She died with any guys, maybe 1 week, maybe 8, 9 days. And when she come to Ukraine, she start medicine process, but it's God called she to heaven, and she died. It,
Oh, wow.
just at 1 day. It's very broken me. Because my parents stay in occupation, and it's very hard be for me is tell about this bad news to my parents. But when she died, God gave me one words. Uh, she's been not very good lady, like every one of us. We made many sin, but God forgive us. And another right now, she with God. She have a crowns on she hand because she made something from God. It's sometimes I don't have any normal words from people. We just talk about our pain because so many pain outside, so many pain around us. It's not only war; it's the poor people. It's the many depressed people. Many people stay without home, without food, without everything. Um, every week I'm been in front line. and I see like people, very older people who want to finish their life, and I see like many young people say, "I don't want to live. I want
Wow.
to die." I see many soldiers. They say, "I hate my life,"
Wow.
and sometimes I don't have any words. I visit many churches and I see like people sit and crying. But my hope, my real hope, I understand that Jesus Christ is risen. It's it's just my faith. It's just my hope, because I understand it. If Jesus risen, we risen too. My sister right now, she risen, and she in heaven with our God, and I preach about that. Sometimes in Ukraine culture, men don't cry, but sometimes I feel I'm crying. We should be strong. It's like I'm chaplain, I'm pastor, I'm father. Every time should be strong. I should find every answer to everything. But sometimes I understand I don't know anything. I just when I try to go to my God and ask Him, but sometimes I feel I'm alone. God not answer me.
Remember,
It's
Aleksey, we were in
like our
Ukraine.
life.
We were in Ukraine together. Remember, one of the verses we talked about was in the Psalms, the 23rd Psalm, and verse 4. You know, yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. And we talked about that verse bringing us hope that we all go through the valley. And while we're going through it, He's with us. And sometimes we think, well, if we just get to the other side, all will be fine. We just get to the other side. But that verse says, while we're going through. You know, yea, though I walk through the valley, while we're going through, and I know you, Aleksey, and the people of Ukraine are walking through a terrible, terrible, challenging valley of death and destruction. But we know that our Lord is with us, even in the midst of this pain. And Nick, I think that's some of the answer to the question you said. That is, we all have challenges, even here in Augusta, Georgia. You know, Nick Proto has challenges in his life. Roger has challenges. And what do? We say, I can't overcome every challenge, but God will walk with me. And Aleksey, I think that's where you are. You know, you as a pastor, you can't solve everybody's problems. You can't feed everyone. You can't comfort everyone. But I think as you go through your chaplain daily life, you're trying to say, I'm walking through the valley with you, and God is with us every step of the way, and His rod and His staff will bring us hope. And that's how I think you're getting through it, brother. And I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you, Aleksey, what you're doing.
Yeah, so I wanted to ask, you took a trip out there a couple months ago now.
Yeah.
So how did that come to be? How did you guys get connected, and what was that trip like? Just kind of walk us through, you know, what you guys did over there.
Yeah. I thought it was a great trip, Aleksey, where we met. Aleksey lives and does his ministry in the war zone area. And so the airspace in Ukraine is closed, so we couldn't fly into Ukraine. So we flew into Slovakia, a town called Kosice, Slovakia. And then we came across the border, you remember, Aleksey, in a train to Augusta in the Carpathian Mountains. In that little town of 28,000 people, the whole year of the war, no bomb has dropped there. It's a safe town.
Right.
So Aleksey drove, was it probably 10 or 12 hours you drove, Aleksey, to join us?
I'm driving very fast. I'm driving 10 hours. Very fast.
10 hours.
Usually it's 12.
You drive fast. You dodging potholes and dodging landmines. Ukraine is a huge country, as big as our state of Texas almost, and it's the second largest country in Europe. You know, Russia being the largest. And so we knew of Aleksey's work, and so we contacted him and said, we want you to meet us away from the war zone. And so this team of 5 people went to be with Aleksey and 13 other pastors, and many brought their wives. And we said, we're going to give you a weekend retreat. You know, you're in the war zone. You face pain and destruction and tragedy every day. We want to give you a little respite, a little break. So they all came to a hotel in the Carpathian Mountains, and Aleksey came, and he is, as you can tell, a delightful, strong Christian pastor. And so he and his brother pastors came, and we had a session with them talking about how do you deal with grief and pain and loss in a war zone. We talked about the Psalms and talked about the book of Romans. In all things, God worked together for good for those who love the Lord. And we said, can God do a good thing even in war? And Aleksey and me and the pastor said they found people coming back to their faith a lot more. Remember after 9/11, people in the U.S. were coming back to faith. And Aleksey said the doors opened more. So we met with them for the whole weekend. We shared with them some gifts from the States. And we hopefully shared, Aleksey, I hope that we shared with you the concern of people in America, that we care about you, we're remembering you, and we're keeping you in our thoughts and prayers. I thought it was a good weekend, Aleksey. What did you think about the time we had in Hust, Ukraine?
Oh, it's just like a little bit light in our dark world. Yes, it's. I'm very impressed because I'm many in a road, and sometimes I'm sleep at car, sometimes I'm sleep at somewhere in basement with Kevlar and helmets. Yes, it's normal. Sometimes I sleep at home, but in this time I just rest and relaxed, and I think I'm forgot about some part of my pain. In this time.
Yeah. Well, that was the idea. We give you a moment to rest. That was the idea, Nick.
Yeah. It seems like that did good work over there. Aleksey, do you have kind of a grasp on how important and how helpful the work that you're doing is? Because these people need something to believe in right now, going through the time that they're going through in Ukraine. And you're kind of that light in the dark time, just like Dr. Murchison and his team was the light in the dark time for you. Do you realize the importance of the work that you're doing?
I think so. We just do it our job, is all. I don't think I'm doing very cool work or I'm cool pastor. No, we just made our job. We just serve God. We understanding people, and is all. It's just I sometimes feel I am God's slave. Is all. And it's but this idea helped me stay strong. Is all.
You can see this guy's humility.
Yeah.
Because he's a father and also a husband. He cares about his own family. And so what he does, Nick, is he'll see his family on weekends occasionally. But during the week, he's out and about helping people, still being a pastor, but in a whole different context.
Yeah.
And so you can tell how I admire this young pastor.
Yeah, just so much, like you said, humility and bravery and all the good qualities that you want in somebody coming through the screen here. And Aleksey, how hard is it to be?
I'm not bravery.
How hard is it to be away from your family for days at a time, weeks at a time? And how do you explain to your kids what all is going on and kind of be strong for them too?
My sons come with me many times on front line. Last couple our trips, when we go together, my older son say, Father, when we go in a little bit dangerous place, I see oh my God, I just pray, God, don't just save us. But he say, I wanna be very dangerous place. Last week we have been very close to Dnipro River together with my son. It's just maybe 20 meters and Russian can see us, but it's very bad weather where it's raining and they can use their drones because they see us in drone and they shoot every time. It's when we just go understanding we go to hell. Yeah. But people still live there. Every building destroyed, but people still live. And we just pray and say, God, protect us. And he give us, we didn't hear any shoots. when we go out on this village, it's just boom, boom, boom everywhere. But we stay at this village 3 or 4 hours. Usually, we just go at 10 minutes, just give very fast and go out.
Yeah.
3 hours, it's just peace. And my sons come with me, and they learn to serve people. It's just practice for me and from them. For me, it's just I try to have a more hope to my God, because I can't protect my sons. Just God can, and I understand it. It's someone they say you are crazy because stay your kids, but understanding in this time they start pray much better, or when they stay at home they see pain, they see real Ukrainian life. They just not stay at home and not use the cell phone. They
Yep.
see pain, destroyed houses, and I think it's maybe like a little bit crazy, but it's our life.
Aleksey, how old are your two sons, and are they able to be in school either online or I know they're away from your home, but how old are your boys, and can they go to school?
They go at school in Vinica, 16 and 15 years.
Okay.
Wow.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I know this is difficult for them to be away from their own home and from their friends, and I know they enjoy playing football. Your boys are very athletic, and so this has changed their life as well. Nick was asking about how you deal with people. Are your own boys, are they depressed? Your wife, is she depressed? How do you love and care for your own family when you're trying to be a pastor to your own congregation? What about your own family?
My schedule for my weeks, from Monday to Saturday, I am on the road.
Yeah.
And Saturday and Sunday, we stay with family, we serve together at church. We together.
Okay.
We're really together. So at church, we serve people. We have a rest time together. We work together in our warehouse in Vinica. We just 2-3 days we stay, and it's like relaxed time.
Yeah.
And my family understanding real situation, because they every time with me. I know many pastor and many my friends, their family from Ukraine right now to another country, and this is a big problem, because they miss them. They have a double pain. My family serve with me. My family every time usually my sons, because my wife she likes stay at home. My son's little bit crazy like me, and we are going many times. We go dangerous place, really dangerous place. But in this time we can talk about our faith, about our love, about our life, about our problem. We just sit together and driving many times, serve people. And I think in this time, when we sit at home and relax, our faith died. I understand our faith died. When we go in danger place, like the problem, our faith is growing.
Wow. Yeah. That's good.
Yeah, that's it's incredible the work you do. I can't even imagine. The emotions that you feel and all the stuff that you see and hear over there. I don't mean to cut this off, but the Zoom's going to run us out here in about 5 minutes. So, Aleksey, I think that was all that we had for you. We do really appreciate you joining us here. I know you're a very busy man and in a very tough situation over there, so we do appreciate the time.
Aleksey, it's good to talk to you, my friend, and we'll definitely keep in touch. And please tell your family hello for us. And I wish you God's blessings. Our prayers and thoughts are with you, brother. God bless.
Thank you so much. You invite me, and I can be with you. I'm every time open. You have my phone number. You just can call me. And to every people who see us, I want to say thank you so much for you stay with Ukraine. you pray to our country, you donate us, and many people know that. And in this very hard time, we can only together with you, guys, only with you, because we don't have any resources, but you care about us and you help us to share gospel. And right now in Ukraine, God's harvest, we see like many people understanding God and believe in Him. Thank you so
Absolutely.
much. Thank you for
All
your
right.
prayer and for everything.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Aleksey. All right.
Say goodbye, my friend. Bye-bye.
Recording stopped.
All right. So just some incredible,
It's interesting.
perspective and experience over there. So how did you get connected with Aleksey originally?
Yeah, I've been there in 2018 and 2020, just on a regular mission trip, and so I met several. I didn't meet him then, but I met about 8 or 10 pastors, and so we just kind of partnered with them, saying, well, what's your ministry? We want to go with you. We brought some finances to give to them, and so some were doing senior adult ministry, some were doing disabled homes, orphanages. Went to a college in Zaporizhia. And they wanted to hear English. They had a British guy with me, and then they had me, this Southern boy. And so they said, "You guys don't sound like it's all English." But I said, "Yeah,
It's different English."
Certainly, just like Ukraine's probably different from one. So that was 2018 and 2020, and we kept in touch with them a lot. And so then the war broke out in February of 22, and we planned a trip and couldn't go. And so, some of those pastors were saying, "Well, I guess you won't ever come back." And we said, "Well, we want to come back. How can we? We can't come into where you are," because we were in the east, in Poltava, Zaporizhia, Vasilkivka, were all little towns, all near Dnipro, where the river is and where the war is. So they found this town called Hust, Khust, right near the Hungarian, Slovakian, Romanian border. And they said, if you got in trouble, we can get you out of the country in 20 minutes. And so they said, "Would you come?" And so I said, "Yeah, we'll come." So that was the deal. We can't come to where you are, but you can come to us. And you need a respite. You need a little R&R. So that was the whole idea. We've been there twice, kept in touch, and they said, "Can you come back and give us help?" So I took a pastor from London who written a book on the Psalms, and then I did my grief book on how do you deal with grief. Never thought about doing it in a war zone. But then so I spent several hours talking about how you deal with grief and talk about their own grief and are you in touch with your own pain? You can't help your own people if you don't deal with your own grief properly. So we talked about that, and then this pastor talked about the book of Psalms. My wife took some gifts for their wives that came and gave them a little pen of hope, and we had meals with them, and so they were so grateful. Our church collected $13,000 to give to them. Another church in Georgia got $2,000. So we took $17,000. They wanted all in. They said, if you're going to bring us a gift, bring it in U.S. dollars. I said, really? And they said, that is really helpful on the open market,
right?
But especially helpful on the black market. They said U.S. dollars look really good. So they appreciated that, and that was kind of the deal.
Yeah. So as you can imagine, I'm sure that spirits can be a little low out there at times, and especially when this all happened, when the war started, it was in international headlines every day.
Yeah.
And it seems like, as you would expect, it's kind of taken a little bit of a back seat, but it's still very prominent over there. When you got there, what was the morale like? What were the emotions like when you got there, and then versus when you left and they had a couple days of just taking a deep breath? What were those emotions like before and after?
Yeah. Well, it's interesting because one of the pastors, for the whole first 2 or 3 hours of the session, he looked like this. He never looked up from the table. We were all sitting at tables, and he would look down, Nick, at his water bottle or at the pen we took to them, and he didn't want to speak. And so his buddies on each side of him were telling about some of their stories, because I gave them permission. I said, just tell us what's happening in your life. How are you dealing with the pain yourself, and what do you do to minister to your congregation? So they were telling their stories. He wouldn't talk.
Right.
And so finally, about 5 or 6 hours into this thing, he looked up and he said, all right. He said, I am angry. He said, I am so angry. He said, I know a Christian pastor has to learn how to forgive, but I'm not forgiving today. And we just listened, and he said, I know one day God is going to convict me and push me and show me how I can forgive these Russians. He said, but I'm so angry at what they've done to my country. He said, my congregation is scattered. You know, my church is torn up. And he said, what do you do? And he said, I'm glad I came here, but I want you to know I'm really hurting about this. So that happened the first day, and so we gave him permission, you know, to share his feelings. By the time it was over, I finally saw him smiling, and he gave us a hug, and he had all the meals with us, and his wife was with him, and she was able to say, my husband needed to share his pain.
Yeah.
And you gave him permission.
Because, you know, they take in so much pain from other people
Yeah.
that everybody's kind of projecting onto them, and at some point they need an outlet themselves.
Exactly.
And so it was good that you guys were able to be that outlet for them.
Yeah.
What was the most eye-opening part for you being over there?
Yeah, I think to watch these pastors, and Aleksey was an example of it, for their humility. You know, you and I would think, you know, these macho guys, you know, driving a car into a war zone, going through checkpoints, they've got to have a pretty heavy ego.
Mm-hmm.
But you saw this guy had a gentle personality,
Yep.
and so the eye-opening thing for me was, you know, I was learning a lot from them, because you and I don't live in a war zone, Nick, but we live where there are people in pain and people in trouble, and they don't want to see you and me coming in as yes man. We got all the answers. We can take care of all your problems. These guys just saying, you know, all I'm doing is standing beside somebody who lost a loved one, or who lost their house or lost their job, and saying, I've come to say I care. It was kind of the ministry of presence. I'm here, I'm present, I'm here.
Mm-hmm.
And so one of the most impressive things for me was seeing their humility, their faithfulness, and just like Aleksey, you called him a while ago, he's a brave guy. We gave them all a certificate, and the certificate says that they were heroes of faith. And so I thought that was kind of cool, that they were heroes.
And you also got a couple flags.
Yeah, which I thought was kind of neat, saying that America's standing with them.
Lift it up a little bit higher there.
Go a little higher.
There you go.
Yeah.
That might be backwards.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you had another one over here too. And
Yeah,
so,
this one, that's from the United States, but part of the group I was taking, Nick, were from UK, and so this flag, if I got it going in the right direction, is that going right, or I'm upside down, backwards?
I think we are upside down.
Okay.
There we go.
All right.
Yep,
Now we're good. Yeah, this is from London. This is the names of all of our team members. We had a pastor from London, a professor from Spurgeon's College. We had an attorney in India from Odessa, and she was very helpful because, one, she was a great translator, but also she just knew the culture. She knew the Ukrainian lifestyle, so it was helpful to have Inya with us. Not only would speak the language, but she knew culturally what would work and what would not work with these people. So
Yeah.
it was an awesome trip.
Yeah, it
really
sounds
was.
like it. Are you guys have any plans to go back? Would you like to go back? I know you just got back from the trip, but would you like to go back? Could you see yourself doing that again?
We just got home March the 22nd, so it's been almost just over a month, and we got back. The short answer is yes. I mean, we do want to go back.
Yeah.
And we're already in conversation about the possibility. There's a Christian institute called the Carpathian Christian Institute in those mountains in the town called Husht, and they wanted me to come back and teach about the grief book that I wrote. So there's some talk about me going back and teaching in that town for a while. And of course, if I'm there, I'm going to invite these pastors to come.
And I wanted to ask you about the book you wrote, because it really does fit in well with that trip in particular. So can you give us a little bit of background on exactly what that book is and how you were able to apply that to that trip?
Yeah, I wrote the book for churches and for people who've lost a loved one at a church. You know, you're going through grief when someone dies. And so the book is set up in 10 chapters, 10 questions. You know, what happens when you die? How long will my pain hurt? Is there any ultimate good because of this loss? And so it was all fashioned around dealing with people who are going through pain, and never realizing that people in a war zone have some of these same issues in which they're dealing. So the book has been helpful here in church, but several of the guys spoke English. You know, like Aleksey, many of the pastors didn't. So the book is written in English, obviously. And so what we did was we had portions of the book translated into Ukraine language. And so we had a PowerPoint presentation so they could see some of the thoughts and concepts about grief. And so the book was really helpful, and I was surprised how the book made the translation from English to Ukraine. But you realize, tears and pain and sorrow, that's universal.
Everybody knows those.
Everybody knows that.
Everybody knows that.
Everybody knows that. And you can tell by listening to Aleksey that he cares about his wife and children, and he realizes that some people are in depressed mode, and he said that what he has to do is try to reach out and comfort them. And that's universal, Nick. It's universal.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And so if anybody listening to this wanted to help out, you guys or them over in Ukraine, is there a way for them to do that? Or
yeah, there's all kind of ways, obviously. I think, the first way, if you're a person of faith, please pray. Aleksey appreciates that. And every time I talk to him or send him a note, he is so thankful to the United States. One, because I came all this way, but also, and you and I aren't, military or political, but he also knows that America is supporting and helping in a powerful way. Other countries are too, but he knows that our country has been first among a lot. So he thanks us for that. But I think he also says, if you can be supportive, I went with Dmitro Hope Mission, and it's, DmitroHopeMission.com. That group sends finances even right now. They're sending money every week to help Aleksey. We gave him $1,000 while we were there, saying use this in your ministry. He buys, you mentioned bread and sausage and water, and sometimes cigarettes.
Cigarettes, yeah, if the guards want them.
to get through a checkpoint.
Yep.
But yeah, there are ways we can help, and of course there's a lot of other organizations that do benevolent work in Ukraine.
Yeah, and again, just because you don't hear about it every day doesn't mean it's not still happening, and it's not still happening stronger maybe than it even was when the war first started. So again, just keeping these people in your thoughts and prayers, and we do again appreciate the time with you as well. Was there anything else that you had that we should know or that you wanted to add before we wrapped it up?
Yeah, I'll just say that it's so easy, I think, Nick, and we're here at WRDW TV studio, and Richard Rogers and others on television, show this occasionally, and you see it on the national news. But it's in and out of our mind. It's in this news cycle. You know how this works.
Yep. It's the first thing. I mean, sometimes it's the first thing you see on the newscast, and by 6:30, you're already kind of forgetting about it.
It's already gone. And so you see my point. My point is they're living this thing. We see it in a news snippet, and then it's gone out of our mind. And I know we can't think about it every day, but my hope is that we won't forget these people. That they are struggling, and this war is relentless. And so my last point would be, I hope we can keep in our minds and thoughts and prayers the people of Ukraine, because I think they not only represent themselves, but also they represent freedom. That we want to be a free country in America, and I think as we help countries that are struggling for democracy and for freedom, it makes a difference for all of us. So I hope we can keep them in our thoughts.
Absolutely, we will, and we won't forget them because of the work that you've done and because of these conversations like this. Talking with Aleksey over in Ukraine, it kind of brings it home a little bit and puts it more on the forefront of our minds. So again, we do appreciate you coming out here, and if you want to check out more of what Dr. Murchison was talking about, what was the DMH?
Dmitro Hope Mission.
Dmitro Hope Missions. You can check them out, and then of course there's tons of ways to help out. But number one, keep them in your thoughts and prayers. So thanks for tuning in with us on this little News 12 Now segment. Have a great day.
We've been there a few months ago. Many Russian rockets shoot on this village, and few people still live here. But right now you can see someone is rebuilding, and you see that many people come back here, and we distributed the food. But you see that some part of this Russian peace in Ukraine, and please pray for our country, pray for rebuilding, pray for these people, because they need our help. They come back and try to repair their building. Thank you so much for you donate us and your care about our country, about our people. God bless you. Thank you so much. Hello everyone, we're here this village Pribuske. We've been there a few months ago. Many Russian rockets shoot on this village, and few people still live here. But right now you can see someone is rebuilding, and you see many people come back here, and we distributed the food. But you see some part of this Russian peace in Ukraine, and please pray for our country, pray for rebuilding, pray for these people, because they need our help. They come back and try to repair their building. Thank you so much for you donate us and your care about our country, about our people. God bless you. Thank you so much. Hello everyone, we're here this village Pribuske. We've been there a few months ago. Many Russian rockets shoot on this village, and few people still live here. But right now you can see someone is rebuilding, and you see many people come back here, and we distributed the food. But you see some part of this Russian peace in Ukraine, and please pray for our country, pray for rebuilding, pray for these people, because they need our help. They come back and try to repair their building. Thank you so much for you donate us and your care about our country, about our people. God bless you. Thank you so much. Hello everyone,